once you have a fit body, it alters the way you start to see people, and it becomes much more like a revelation. You start to see people for actually who they are, because most times when we are not having a fit physique, our perspective about people is always skewed in the negative direction, and we tend to see people for not who really they are. But the moment you have a fit body, you start to look deeper into things that are more than just the surface level interactions. And one thing that becomes like a rule that would always present itself to you, that you would see constantly, is the fact that a lot of people have bad eating habits. And from their physique, you can tell. You don't need to live with them to actually understand that this person doesn't take their their life seriously in that sense, because it's your temple, and if you don't eat the right things consistently and you feed your body with junks, at the end of the day you would have a result in regard to that. So most times you would always just look at people and you can just tell whether they actually really like themselves. You can actually tell, and how they would look like in the next couple of years. And it's one thing that I have realized, even down to families. If you observe a lot, like in my own family as well, it's one of those things that I have seen down the years. And somehow now I've started to wonder and ask myself certain questions that are very important. So this type of lifestyle is not sustainable, because at the end of the day you start to realize that health issues will come at some point, and these people would trivialize it and tell you that it's old age, when it's something that can actually be fixed from the onset if people are guided properly and given sufficient information that is very necessary to help them in their fitness journey. And it just opens your eyes to see a lot of things. Like, it will open your eyes. The moment you get fit, you will see a lot of things about people that will just blow your mind. And it's more like entering into a realm where you can now really see people for who they are, and people are no more wearing their mask any longer. Because if you are not fit, actually, you would excuse a lot of things that people will do. You just, because at the same time you are not holding them to any standard, because you yourself, you have a shitty body as well, so you don't even feel like you have the right to hold people to a standard. But the moment you get fit, you now realize that the bar is actually high, so you are now holding people to a lot of standards. And it might look like you are judging them or you are critiquing them, but it's not necessarily that. It's just that you are now more aware and in tune with your environment and with yourself. Especially yourself. You are really in tune with yourself, because you know how the way you feel every morning you wake up, compared to those days when you know when you wake up it's always full of depression and you're always grumpy. But the moment you get fit, you start to realize that, wow, life is better, and you start to see people differently. You start to see them differently than before in your past. And it's a beautiful experience, because you can tell from just simple interactions. You can tell who is who. If people are actually serious about their life, if they want to get better, you can actually tell. It's just an intuition. It's just a knowing that comes with just being fit. And it's a spiritual journey that you must embrace entirely. You must accept it for what it is. If not, if you don't accept it, there's no way there's no way you will be consistent. Because consistency is one of those things that would always make you stay in the game long enough. So, but tracing everything back, at the end of the day, you will see people for who they actually are the moment you get fit. you will definitely see them for who they are. If in the past you used to let things slide, when you see someone who is fat and obese, you see them and you let things slide, this time around you just look at them, you already know that probably in the morning they are probably eating fufu, gari or egusi in the morning. There's a likelihood, or they are just eating a lot of processed garbage or food. Actually, maybe it's the puff of the donuts, an excess of it. Because for you to get to that level, to have like 50 kg on your body, it means that you have probably been eating wrongly for so long, for a very long period of time. And that's just the beauty. Like these days, it's just like walking on the streets, and then you just see people. You see someone who is lean, you see someone who is chubby, you see someone who is obese. Instantly, you already know, okay, this person doesn't even sleep well at night. The person who is obese, because they will be having issues with sleep. You already know that. There's no soothsayer that you need to actually tell you that this person is actually having problems with their sleep, or this person is having pains on their joints because of the excessive weight they are carrying. You start to notice a lot of things, as minute as it might look like, and you can foresee into the future, if possible, how long they would live if they continue on that path of degeneracy. So, but it's just the beauty of actually being fit. You just get to see people in a better light, in a better sense. You see them for who they are. You see them for who they are. And there are no masks involved. Like, this is not like, okay, there's a mask, you can't see that. No, you see them literally, because you are the standard. You are the standard. You are the standard. And if they don't measure up to the standard, that's how skewed someone who is fit, that's how their mentality is. Actually, that's how messed up it can get. But it is what it is. It's like it's like a curse and a blessing at the same time. It's one of the things that come. It's like the full package that comes with being fit. It definitely comes with it. So I know it's a struggle when it comes to staying fit, but at the end of the day, you have to make the right decisions. Because you can still eat whole meals, eat a lot of whole meals, eat a lot of food, as long as they are whole meals, and not get fat. Compared to someone who is spamming a lot of junk for eternity. So it's a crazy experience. But at the end of the day, you would always see people for who they actually are. You will see them for who they are. They can't just hide their identity. They can't mask it. That's why you see some people who would use food as a sort of remedy, just to always try as much as possible to always run back to food. In case if they have a problem, just go to food. Food is always like everything, their succor, and not realizing that when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Every situation that is literally making your life miserable is a moment for you to actually face it squarely. But instead, most people will go to food and rely on food instead of the other way around, facing the problem squarely. So at the end of the day, I would just say, get fit, so you experience these things I'm saying. Like, realistically, you would see it, you will feel it. You will start to feel people's energy. You start to feel people's energy. So get fit, guys. So we'll see in the next video, and we have some more. Thank you so much for your time, and have a great day and stay blessed. Bye, guys.